We're here with Harry from Still Austin. He's going to walk us through his product, his distillery, what they're doing here, and give us a bit of a hand with some knowledge that we can apply to our crafts as well. So Harry, what have you got for us?
Hi, we are a whiskey distillery here in Austin, Texas. We grain to glass, make everything ourselves. We buy all our grains here in Texas. We've been making a variety of products that we've been selling, white whiskey, flavored whiskeys, and gin. And in May, we're coming out with our first bourbon. We'll
That's
taste
exciting.
that here as well. Yeah.
And what's this one?
Okay, so this is coffee liqueur. We've been making, only available here in the store, very labor intensive. We've been working with our partners, the Spokesman Coffee Roasters, just down the road here in this.
That's awesome. So super
complex.
local.
Yeah, super local, all together. Yeah, we're really lucky to be in this complex, actually.
That's awesome.
We got a winery, a coffee roaster, a brewery, and ourselves one-stop alcoholic drink.
That's pretty awesome. So, should we taste some stuff?
Yeah, please. So, I thought you'd start you off with the, this is our, what we call new make. It's our wheated bourbon, 92 proof. It is exactly the stuff that comes off going into the barrel at 114 proof. We proof it down a little more, 92, and put it in the bottle.
Oh, that's smooth though. That does not
So
jump out and get you as a new make spirit, does it?
Right. It doesn't have a lot of that sort of white dog funk flavors and like this. So that's basically why we think our still produces such a clean product.
Oh wow. Yeah, you guys are working really hard to keep those heads out of there, aren't you? Yeah.
Heads, tails out. Yeah, I mean, and the still does a lot of it for us. We're really just delighted with what the product comes off. And then the rye bourbon, which we've got aging here, which will be the first aged release we do, is really showing that well too. We have the wheated bourbon will be released, but it's going to take about another year.
Okay, right. What corn are you using for this? Because there's a lot of corn flavor, but it's not a big butterscotch.
It's not.
It's
it's not oily
corn.
or buttery.
It tastes like corn, not like.
Yeah, it's a white corn. It's a white corn grown here. It's a feed corn similar to a lot of. I think most Kentucky people use yellow dent. We're using it's white sweet corn, but doesn't have quite as much of that sort of buttery flavor.
Yeah, right. Do you mind telling us what the mash bill?
No, it's on the wheated bourbon. It is a 72 white corn, 23 wheat, 5% barley, malted barley.
That's nice, guys. That's really good.
Next to it is, then this is our Daydreamer, we call it Daydreamer whiskey. It is a light whiskey. We actually pull it off the column, a little higher proof, 170 proof. It's got a 90% corn, 5% wheat, 5% barley mash bill. And then we add citrus flavorings to it.
Oh, okay.
But no sugar.
No sugar.
No sugar. So it's fused.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you say citrus flavorings, are you using are you peeling oranges? Or?
No, we've tried that. It's really time consuming. We actually found a source of natural flavorings that have been. It's a company that basically does that.
Yeah, right.
So
yeah,
we pay them to do it for us.
It doesn't taste like fake estery orange. It's
all from real orange
man.
stuff. It's just somebody else is doing the hard work.
Wow. Yeah, and a lot of zest.
Yeah,
like heaps of zest.
That's in the. So it's a combination of Tangelo, Valencia orange, and bergamot. Just a little bit of bergamot.
Wow. It's almost like an American Cointreau.
That's kind of the idea, but not as sweet. Yeah. So we use it. If we go back out there and have a cocktail, you'll taste it in our margaritas or in our Southside cocktail.
That's different, man. That excites me. It is really, really cool to see craft distillers messing with stuff.
I'm glad you like it.
Yeah, that's cool.
No, we love to see the reaction because a lot of people particularly who have had, worked, gotten white dog at a distillery that has a pot still, it tends to have a little more funky flavor.
Yeah.
And so people get surprised when they try ours.
Yeah, definitely.
So this next one, this is our peppered whiskey. We call it Mother Pepper.
Oh, like literally pepper.
Yeah, pepper. So it's actually literally, it's the exact same base as the new make. It's the wheated bourbon. It's 80 proof instead of 92 proof. And then we macerate peppers in it. Right. It's a combination of ají amarillo, serrano, chipotle, and chili piquin. Has a nice smoky flavor to it. Has a little bit of a burn. Kind of gets to the back of your throat. The color is all from the peppers.
It smells
it's
like...
not aged.
Although
we do have some aging.
Oh, of course you do. That's right. It literally smells like putting your head in a bag of fresh chili.
Yeah, and it basically is we're buying fresh chilies, macerating them for about 4 days.
So it is hot. It does have a burn to it.
Yeah.
But it has a flavor like it's going to rip your tongue out.
Right.
Like you can taste the chili really full on, but then that backs off and there's not actually that much heat there.
Really good with like ginger beers, lemonade, stuff like that.
Yes, ginger beer. Mm-hmm. Honestly, I don't think I would sit down and drink that like this.
Yeah, it's not everybody's cup of tea.
But to have it on the shelf, to be able to pull out and
mix on a cocktail.
share something different with someone, or make ginger beer in that would be amazing. Yep.
I love it. Yeah, I mean, so we one of the great things about working here and being in charge of bottling all this stuff is that bottles with bad labels go home.
Yeah, right.
This is currently on the stock shelf is our gin.
Okay.
So this is
right.
So we make the base ourselves. It's a 60% rye, 40% white corn. We distill it to about 170 on the column as well. Then we take it, macerate the botanicals. We have 12 botanicals that we use. Obviously, juniper is one of them. Macerate it overnight in the pot still, and then run it through again.
Right. Okay. So you're not using a gin head.
No, don't have a gin basket. Don't have anything like that. It'd be nice if we did, but no, this works.
But yeah.
So this is what
I'm trying to get past the chili a little. Still.
You know what? I should have got some water, but
It's okay. Are you guys using some sort of savory herb in there?
So there's a little bit of. So we use angelica root and orris root. And angelica root and orris root give just a little tiny bit of umami on the bottom.
Yeah, it's almost sage-like.
Yeah.
But without the real sage herb punch, it's the umami underneath
it's just umami. It just gives it a nice little sort of rounder mouthfeel.
Yeah.
This is and so angelica root is a fairly common root, and angelica and orris are fairly common ingredients in gin. But I think we're using them in slightly larger quantities. And since we backed off the juniper a bit, this is more of what they're calling a Western gin now.
Yeah, you don't have big
it's a bit
pine,
more floral, not quite as
Yeah.
big. Pine
It's
cones punching you in the face.
Definitely on the floral side.
Yeah.
And that is a fine base spirit, guys. That's nice.
Thank you.
Yeah. So rye. Why rye?
So we felt like the rye was really what was giving the characteristic, had a nice little sort of, just a hint of spiciness in it, and gave it a little bit of earthiness as well.
Yeah, right.
That even though we're distilling at 170 on the column, which is reducing the influence of the grain flavors, still it's in there, it's back there, it gives it a little building, something to build on. That's probably part of the umami you're tasting too, is the rye.
The earthiness.
That earthiness, yeah. Then the last of our previous products, and I should get you some water before we get to the bourbon, but this is our coffee liqueur.
Okay.
So this is
I've been looking forward to tasting this since I saw it.
So this is made with a yellow corn whiskey base. A yellow corn bourbon base.
Wow. And what are you distilling that to? Are you distilling it quite
So
high,
that was actually we distilled that at about 140 on the column still. Put it in new charred American oak for about 4 months. Pulled it off. The gentleman, it's called the Delavante Coffee Liqueur. Mike Delavante is the gentleman who designed our still, and he made coffee liqueurs in Jamaica with rum, with aged rum as a base. So he thought, you've got aged whiskey. Why can't we make a coffee liqueur with aged whiskey instead of aged rum? I'm like, we're game.
This is honestly like a cappuccino.
Yeah.
There's coffee, there's cream, but there's also chocolate.
There's cocoa nibs are in it, actually. So there's actually cocoa nibs in it. Yes.
Oh, really? Yeah. Okay.
So yes, the chocolate is on purpose.
Woo!
It's got a little vanilla as
well.
Does
it taste anything like it smells?
Yeah, it tastes pretty good. It goes down really well. It's 25% alcohol, 50 proof.
Yeah, that's good. Can you tell if you're macerating the beans or?
So what we're doing is we're grinding the beans. Put them in we basically take the whiskey base, the aged whiskey base, put that in the coffee grounds and let it sit with the cocoa nibs and let it sit for about 4 or 5 days.
Right.
Strain it off, run it through coffee filters, get all the grains and particle out. Then mix it with more whiskey, the simple syrup, some vanilla.
I have another go at that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, this is definitely something we're going to have to try on the channel, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And really, take an aged, if you've got any kind of aged product, this was, corn whiskey that was in barrel for 4 months.
Right.
So we wanted color and flavor, but not dominance. We didn't want it to be,
oak.
We wanted it to backbone the coffee, not overwhelm the coffee.
Yeah, I'm struggling to pick out wood.
Yeah, no, it's just
a fullness. Yeah.
it's just there. Would you like some water before we go into the bourbons?
Yeah.
So May 11th is going to be our launch party here at the distillery. You're all welcome to join us. Whereas it'll officially start being available here, probably hit stores, whatever stores have it, late May.
Okay.
The plan is, so we've got behind you 140 barrels that are going through what we're calling the élevage or slope water reduction process.
Yeah.
Where we're proofing it down to 0.1 month in
And
barrel.
are we going to talk about this a little bit later on too, guys? Because I find this interesting. But yeah, sorry, carry on.
And so we have 44 barrels that are available in the first batch that will be available in May, and then another 96 in September, October.
Yeah, cool.
So the first batch, we're dividing up into 3 blends. We've had our consulting blender come in and pick barrels, choose which ones we're going to go into, and we're calling them Coupe 1, Coupe 2, Coupe 3, which is basically French for blend 1, blend 2, blend 3. So what we have here is these, and stores and restaurants will be able to buy them in what we're calling half barrel quantities, or about 21 cases.
Okay.
Of six bottles of a case in the hard case.
Yeah.
So this is blend 1, blend 2, blend 3.
Right.
And then whatever's left over, we'll put it together in essentially blend 4.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's like...
So this is about 100 proof.
Is it?
That'll be barrel strength. Bottling strength. We're going to bottle it about just a hair over 100. Our stuff is so smooth that if we get too much lower, it becomes insipid.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I don't know if it's the amount of whiskey I've drank over the last 2 days, but I literally cannot smell alcohol in that at all. A little bit of green apple that sort of heads towards alcohol.
Young,
but
yeah. A little bit of young, but that's about it. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not even young. Yeah.
So this stuff, what he's tasting, is just for people to know. When it's released, it'll be 1 year old in barrel. Right now, these samples were pulled when they were about just under 11 months. So this is 11-month-old bourbon you're tasting.
Yeah. The punch comes back in the proof, but it's not overwhelming at all. And I wouldn't have guessed it's that high at all.
We've had a lot of people taste it against other things and say, what do you think? How old? What's the proof? How old do you think it is? We've had master blenders guess that this was 12 years old.
I can see that, but it's still quite a traditional bourbon flavor, isn't it? It's not out there. It's not different. There's butterscotch. There's vanilla. There's new oak.
No, this is we're not trying to reinvent the wheel here. We're trying to make a good bourbon. So we've got stuff that we played with. We put some triticale in barrels. If you're not familiar with triticale, it's a hybrid of wheat and rye.
Oh, okay, right.
So,
oh, wow. Okay, that's interesting.
And yes, wheat is triticum and rye is cicale. So triticale.
Yeah, right. So this to me leans more towards the caramel, like the bigger, darker. When I say darker, I mean the more roasted but sweet sort of flavors, like heading that way. Yeah,
it's surprising the difference in just in these three, the 3 different blends that we have in just 44 barrels.
The same stuff, just picking different barrels, essentially.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well.
And like we said, at the end, we're probably going to, whatever's not sold as a separate, 1, 2, or 3, we'll put together in a 4.
Yeah, right.
And honestly, we tried the 4, and the 4 is pretty damn good.
You just let it fall where it may, basically. If it doesn't fit into the others, it all goes in together and see what happens.
All goes in together, and it's actually...
It works?
It's my favorite.
Yeah, right. I like the nose on this better, but I like the taste on that, I think.
There's differences, they're designed to be different enough that people can say, okay, it's still part of the first batch, but they're differences.
I'm really interested to see where this goes now.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, okay. It's more fruity.
And part of that is where the barrels were, whether they were in a top rack or a bottom rack.
Oh, okay. So the flavor on this is what I was expecting from this, from the nose. But I feel like it's a progression, isn't it?
Yeah. There's a really interesting, just going through it. Again, it's going to be a 1-year-old bourbon when it comes out. Some people call it a baby bourbon. We're pretty proud of it, actually.
It's almost...
We wouldn't put it out if we weren't happy with the customer tasting it.
Yeah, right. It's almost port-like in some ways.
It's
got like a fig grape sort of thing going on.
So this is the stuff. This is what Texas does. So this is Texas barrel aging.
Yeah, right.
We've come to sort of think of it not as how many years you've been aging, but how many Texas summers it's had.
Yeah, right.
Because honestly, if you put something in a barrel in January and another one in May, and then you taste them both in October, they're going to be similar age quality, because between January and May was less action than what happened between May and October. May and October is summer in Texas. We'll get, I mean, if it gets up to 45 in the daytime, 45 centigrade in the daytime, but it'll drop down to 25 over at night.
Yeah.
You know, so we're getting a 20-degree swing.
Yeah, right.
Between night and day.
So it's the swing on a daily basis, but also the swing over a season that just really pushes whiskey
and
in
the swing
and
at
out
the
of
high
barrels.
end too. So in other words, if you're doing your swing down between 0 and 10, 15, you're not getting as much action, right? So it's a swing at the high end where everything's really pushing out everything and expanding the stuff into the wood.
I was going to try and pick a favorite for you. I don't know. Yeah, I will actually. It's this.
You like 3?
Number 3. Yep,
There you go.
that's mine.
Nice.
I like the dark fruit flavors. That's kind of my jam. That's what I'm into. The others are great, but for me, this is it. I hope you enjoyed the distillery porn, and I've got 3 questions for Harry now that I think that you guys will want to know the answer to as well. He mentioned earlier that they are using enzymes and bottled enzymes, essentially, not just the enzymes, the natural enzymes in the barley.
Correct.
Or the malt, any of the malts. And I was interested in the choice for doing that, and why you would do one and why you would do the other. The pros and cons of each side.
So there's definitely, and you will find advocates of both ways of doing it. Generally, the advocates for using the natural barley enzymes, and only those, arguments are, flavor, natural, keeping it all, getting everything from the grain. And if you've got the time and the ability and the patience to work with it and know what you're doing, and you can, it takes a little bit longer when you're doing your protein rests and your alpha and beta amylase rests and stuff like that. It makes your production day a little bit longer, but you might have. You might really be able to fine-tune a unique product, a new flavor. On the other hand, if you're trying to sustain a building, the whatever 12,000 square feet building that we're renting and paying for here with all of our, column still and stuff like that, you need to get product out so that you can get product in the pipeline. Then you want something that's a little bit more consistent and a little bit more time efficient. The enzymes help us do that. Beer and wine happen in nature. Whiskey doesn't.
Yeah. So the natural, I hate using that word, but the natural way, it's a story. It's something that you can market. It's if you enjoy the craft and you just, like for us, if we just want to do it at home and enjoy it, that's one thing.
Absolutely.
But for consistency and time efficiency,
enzymes are really kind of the way to go.
The second thing that I wanted to bring up was that you mentioned a difference in profile, I guess, with the final product when you choose a different proof that goes into the barrel.
Right. So in the U.S., you're allowed to put up to 125 proof in barrel.
Right.
That is obviously the higher the proof you can put in barrel, the fewer barrels you have to buy for designated batch size.
Yep.
We've found, and I think some other people have found too, that going with the highest proof is not necessarily the best flavor output for us.
Right.
We found that since alcohol and water are both solvents, but they dissolve different things out of the wood, and since it happens so fast in Texas that it's really hard to control what goes into what, that if we favor more water over alcohol, we tend to get more of the water-soluble flavors, which tend to be the vanillas, the caramels, the butterscotches, as opposed to the higher sort of tannins, astringency, char kind of flavors that you get from the alcohol. So we tend to put our wheated bourbon goes into barrel at 114 proof, and our rye bourbon goes into barrel at 118.
To simplify it, because I imagine it's a very complex thing, and it's not you do A, you get B
Right,
type
yeah.
thing. It's part wizardry. We all know that.
Absolutely, yeah.
But the lower end is the friendly, the sweet, the vanilla,
Correct.
the caramel, and the higher end of the proof going onto the wood or into the wood is the char, the spice, the pepper.
Yeah.
All of those things going on as well. And of course, astringency, I'm assuming is more likely to come out faster.
Correct.
Yeah, cool. And the last thing I want to talk about is you guys are doing something interesting with your proofing.
Yeah.
When you proof down to bottle strength, right?
Uh-huh. So
Tell us about that.
So we're doing that. So particularly for this early, our first release, which is going to be a 1-year-old rye bourbon, we are imitating a style, a technique that we stole from cognac called élevage, or what we call slow water reduction program. We're starting it at 118, the rye bourbon in the barrel at 118, but then every month we leave room, and every month we add a little bit of water, bring it down 1 point of proof per month. Where so slowly, month by month, we are increasing the water and decreasing the alcohol. So we are trying to essentially multiply the effects of water. And then the other thing it does is that when you're proofing down for bottling, if you do it all at once in one day and then bottle it, it's going to be, it's kind of harsh.
Yeah,
thing.
right.
It doesn't. The flavors don't get a chance to blend. Even when you're just bottling and proofing down, we recommend not doing much more than like 2 points a week.
Right.
In tank, So even if we dumped it blended and we're just
The
proofing
barrel's
down,
not in the picture.
2 points a week.
Wow.
Get it down to bottling
Okay.
proof, just to give it time for all those flavors to melt.
Another thing that I should probably test, that might be an interesting side-by-side that we can do sometime on the channel.
Yep.
But yeah,
There you go.
good fun.
That'd be
Awesome.
a fun experiment.
Thank you very much, Harry.
Jesse,
I
pleasure.
completely appreciate it. And I also appreciate the delicious whiskey that we got to taste. I've got one last thing to do. Harry, you're going to disappear and the Patreons are coming up right there. So thank you very much for all the Patreons.
Oh, right.
There's a ghost laughing behind the screen. But thank you very much, guys. There is no way that I could be here in Austin without you guys. So thank you. I appreciate it. So if you liked the video, guys, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you really liked it and you want to help the channel out, there's a few things you can do. Number 1 is share the videos with anyone else that you think might like them. Number 2, check the merch out in the bar below the video or in the description down below. And number 3, if you're really finding value in these videos, check the Patreon page out. And if you like that, you can sign up there. All right, guys, keep on chasing the craft. See ya.